What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. I'm here with none other than undefeated WBO featherweight champ, Heather Hardy. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm great, Now, you're on the verge of a mega fight. We're seeing more and more mega fights for women. We saw the Clarissa Shields, Christina Hammer fight. You know, this is a big fight for Heather Hardy. Two big names, Heather Hardy, Amanda Serrano. You know, you guys are paving the way and really shining a light on women's boxing. What does this fight do for women's boxing, and how does it live up to the billing?
I don't think that there are words to describe about it living up. I mean, you both know what kind of fighters me and Amanda are, so it's going to be exciting in there. As far as women's boxing goes, hopefully it inspires some of the other girls to really challenge themselves and go after the champions. So many champions refuse to fight Amanda. She's scary. So hopefully I can inspire some of these other girls to step up as well.
Now, how did this fight come to fruition? Because we know that you guys were sparring partners at one point in time, and like you said, not too many people are too overly joyed to jump in the ring with her. But how did this fight come to fruition?
Well, I got a letter from the WBO that pretty much said that I couldn't fight anybody before I fought her, that she had challenged me for my title, and because she was a super champion, she could challenge anybody. So it was like, I either have to vacate or fight Amanda. And to me, it's like, you want to fight me? Okay. I don't know how to say no to that. I'm from Brooklyn.
Now we see, you know, she's conquering all types of different weight classes. She's the Manny Pacquiao of women's boxing. How does Heather Hardy defeat Amanda Serrano?
I think smart boxing, you know. Anybody could get beat. Anybody could get beat. And I'm not a world champion by accident. I know sometimes what it takes to win. Not every win is pretty. Not every win is you know, one for the history books, but I know what it takes to win.
Right. Now, a lot of people were talking about Amanda and Katie. Now, what does this is, you know, she was saying that, you know, she wasn't happy with the promotion and she didn't want to go straight away into a Katie Taylor fight because she was promised a certain amount of fights before that fight, and she didn't get her fights, but Katie got her fights. And it's almost like, but Heather Hardy is not a tune-up fight.
I know. I mean, they are looking at me like a tune-up fight. I know it's in no one's best interest for me to win, but I don't care. I don't care.
So
you know, like it's no secret. She's on the second of her 3-fight deal. They've been hyping up this big mega fight between her and Katie. Gotta get past me first.
And to say the least, this has been the year of the upsets. You know, we've seen
the year of the upsets and the year of the old folk. So you can't sleep on us old folk.
Right. So now, you know, should you be victorious in this fight, are you looking to face Katie Taylor?
Yeah, it's in my contract, and you know what that means? That means college tuition money for my kids. So I got a lot of stake in coming out to win.
Now, speaking of tuition and money in women's sport of boxing, we see that, you know, you guys are fighting. We hear Clarissa talk about it all the time. I've heard Amanda talk about it. You yourself, before your fight, your last fight. When can we see what has to be done for you guys to be recognized just like the men in the sport of boxing?
You know, like in 2012 was the first year that girls are able to box in the Olympics, and you're starting to see like kind of the fallout from that, right? Like all these promoters who are investing in Clarissa and Katie and Michaela, Marlon, and those girls are getting the spotlight, right? Like you have girls like me and Amanda who didn't get into the class of the Olympics. We had already turned pro, and you know, we kind of fought our way into this spotlight.
Right.
So as far as money goes, I'm sure it will come. I'm too old to think I can sit around and wait for it, though.
Right. So now we see that at the Clarissa Christina Hammer fight, I talked to Alicia Napoleon, and she was not too happy with the fact that, you know, there weren't too many women at that fight. You know, they weren't invited, should I say. She said when there's big fights for men, you know, especially in and around the weight class, you see the other champions, other challengers, things of that nature sitting ringside, and she wasn't happy. You know, she said we wasn't invited. We wasn't, you know, we had to ask for tickets and things of that nature. You know, we're just being overlooked. What do you say to that?
I think I didn't even think of that, but it's really true. I wasn't invited to the fight. Nobody offered to drive me out there or give me ringside seats or put me up in a hotel. Matter of fact, when they have fights at, I won't say the venue because it wouldn't be nice of me, but when they have fights at a particular venue, they'll call and say, Heather, do you want tickets? And I won't get to sit on the floor with the champions. I'm always in the stands. As a world champion, I'm always in the stands. So, people want to say like it's equal, you're at Madison. Yeah, it's phenomenal that I got to see my big billboard up at Madison Square Garden and I'm going to fight possibly as the co-main event. Like that's something that in 2012, people would have laughed at me if I said I was going to do. But we're nowhere near on equal playing field yet. There's still so much work to do.
And the thing about it is, I always say I watched you train, I watch Alicia train, I watch Carissa train, and it's no different than watching the men train. So you put your body through the same
No, you know
regimen.
what the difference is? We have full-time jobs. I don't get to go to Miami or someplace nice and do a 6-week camp where somebody got to send my kid to school, somebody got to cook her dinner or wash her clothes and make sure my bills are paid. Like I don't have anybody to do that for me. And because we're not making in the 6 figures or in the millions where we should for a fight like this, I'm still working a full-time job. So that's the difference. We don't just train the same as the boys. We train harder than the boys. And if you walk in Gleason's and talk to any of those guys, Juan Guzman is one of the ones that always say it. Like, I don't even know what you're doing. Like, he always used to say, like, I wanted to say I know how you feel, but I don't because I don't go home and cook for my kid.
Right.
I didn't used to go home and have to work full-time and hold pads for people.
Right.
So it is different.
And now, in such a big fight with Amanda, and you spar with her, what is the biggest thing, the biggest weapon that Heather Hardy has to disarm Amanda to be successful?
It's no secret she got all them knockouts, and I can say even 6-7 years ago when we were sparring partners, 14-ounce gloves and headgear is no different. I mean, she hit you and you go, what was that?
Right.
So I think if I have any upper hand, is that I'm totally prepared for what is coming at me with them 2 hands.
And now, for people that don't know you, what can they
Who
expect?
don't know me? Come on.
I'm just saying, just in case they don't know you, right? What can they expect?
I'm tough as hell. I am tough as hell. I'm too tough for my own good.
I thank you, champ. Tell the people where they can find you, who you are.
You can find me on Instagram at Heather the Heat or on Twitter at Heather Hardy Box.
I appreciate you, champ.
You bet, you bet.
Bye-bye.